Ayan Acharya, and today I'm joined by my colleagues Santadeep and Dhruva Prasad. Hi guys. So we are less than a week away from this year's IPL. Plenty to talk about. In the next 15 to 20 minutes, we're going to delve into the strengths and weaknesses of the 10 teams and look at the larger picture. Of course, there's T20 World Cup coming up, so a lot is at stake in this IPL. Let's start with you, Dhruva. The T20 World Cup starts from June, a few days after the IPL gets over. What is it that the brains trust of Team India will be looking for?
Yeah, so it's interesting because India has actually played very little T20I cricket ahead of the IPL, and IPL was supposed to be the dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
We just played, I think, 6 T20s after the ODI World Cup. So yeah, it's definitely going to pretty much shape up the T20 World Cup squad, and India really hasn't figured out what kind of strategy it's going to go with in the T20 World Cup, because in the ODI World Cup we saw that India
They had a
preferred
core team, yeah.
a six bowlers attack, but even though 5 ended up bowling most of the matches. But again, India will have to look at what they want to do in the T20 format, whether they want to go with a 6 bowlers strategy or stick to a 5 bowler strategy. In that case, then again, Hardik Pandya becomes very important to the team balance because he brings in that 6 bowling option.
Yeah, so this time a lot of question marks are there, including, we don't know whether Ishan Kishan is there. Pant is just coming back. We have just seen 1 or 2 training sessions. So you don't even know whether, he's at his full fitness, although BCCI claims he is. I've seen him running, but you won't call it match fitness because there are talks that he might be included as an impact player in DC as well. So again, then we have to talk about captains also. First, Hardik Pandya captains Rohit Sharma in Mumbai Indians, and then we transition over. And in the next month you have Rohit Sharma captaining Hardik again. So yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag, and you don't know what exactly how the team is shaping up. But yeah, do you have further points to add here?
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the fringe players, you look at guys like Tilak Verma, and I wouldn't call Rinku Singh a fringe player at this point.
Obviously,
He's pretty much guaranteed himself a spot in that World Cup squad. Having said that, I think it's a very, very important IPL for him because he'll usually bat at number 5 or number 6 for KKR, the position that he has been occupying for India in the limited number of T20Is that he has played. And a good IPL will give him a lot of confidence. Of course, there's Hardik's case as well. Rohit Sharma would want to have a good IPL. He had a pretty forgettable season last year, so how he fares up top is going to set the tone for the team.
Virat Kohli for that matter.
Even Virat Kohli for that matter. Jai Shah, secretary of BCCI, recently said that while Rohit will lead the team in the World Cup, a call on Virat's availability for the tournament or whether not availability, but whether he plays or not will be taken a bit later. So there is still a question mark hovering over Virat Kohli's inclusion in the team. So plenty of factors around, and let's not forget Shreyas Iyer. A very, very important player, had a terrific ODI World Cup campaign, but has had a pretty terrible 2 months ever since. He's been injured. He was omitted from the central contract for not making himself available for the Ranji Trophy. Then he did make himself available, scored 95. There were reports that his back injury has flared up again, but from what we understand so far from our reporters, the news is that he has joined the KKR camp and he will lead the team once the IPL gets underway. So these 2 months are also very crucial for him. So plenty of puzzle pieces are lying everywhere. They need to be put together. Speaking of Shreyas Iyer, KKR, and one thing that people have been talking about at length when it comes to IPL and KKR especially is the amount of money they splurged on a fast bowler, Mitchell Stark, who of course became the most expensive signing in the history of the IPL. Let me take this up with you, Dhruva. Do you think it was a recency bias? Australia won the World Cup, Stark bowled well, that sort of prompted the franchisees and especially KKR to end up paying him the amount that they paid?
I definitely would feel that it's something of a recency bias that has played out because we've obviously Stark hasn't been part of the IPL since 2015, so you also have to look at how he adapts to the league, to the format, to the conditions, to the heat. On top of that, he has not played T20Is, too many T20Is off late. I think he just played the New Zealand series off late.
Correct.
So and we have seen that obviously Test match bowling, ODI bowling, and T20 bowling are very different things. But again, he's been in good form in other formats, so probably KKR expects him to bring that form into the tournament. But yeah, 25 crores was, I feel, something of recency bias. That
24.75.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like it a lot depends on auction dynamics also. Like when you're at the table, for which we have mock auctions. So yeah, 24.75 is a huge amount of money to splurge on one player. But then again, you see like the fast bowling bias is not just with KKR. We have to talk about Mumbai Indians as well. How they have, history says that they prefer their fast bowlers and they want fast bowlers in their team, although Jofra Archer is not there this time. But yeah, again, you can be smart about how you're picking your players. Like if you see Mumbai Indians again, they went with Jalal Koizia and Madhushanka, and they like what we were expecting a single sum for what Koizia would fetch. They ended up getting both players for around 9 crores. So yeah, you don't need to necessarily spend a lot of cash to get in your fast bowlers, but yeah, I don't see a problem why you shouldn't splurge that kind of money when you're getting.
And yeah, and while we're on the topic of breaking the bank, I mean, let's not forget Sunrise Hyderabad, who ended up spending a fortune on Pat Cummins. Again, you'd imagine a case of recency bias. Of course, Cummins won the World Cup with Australia, but there was also a case of SRH looking for a captain. Now, Aiden Markram, could feel that he's got the shorter end of the stick because he didn't do too badly as a captain. He was in good form, and he's actually led the Sunrise Hyderabad franchise in SA20 to a title win. So you'd have expected them to persist with Markram. Instead, SRH end up spending 20 crores on Pat Cummins, and they've made him the captain. So yeah, it's as Sandeep correctly pointed out, it's not just the fact that they won the title. It's also the fact that the auction dynamics is such that you're not necessarily paying 20 crores for the player, you're paying 20 crores for that particular spot, which you feel is very important in the bigger dynamics. Now, these are guys who are going to of course have a great impact. Not just him, Shami's ouster, for instance, as a fast bowler, is a huge blow for Gujarat. Not just because he's a key pacer, but also because of all the changes that have taken place at the helm, with Hardik leaving, Shubman Gill, a new leader. You'd want Mohammed, you'd have loved to have Shami by his side, but he doesn't have that luxury anymore. So that's
and they'll have Umesh.
They'll have Umesh,
pace attack,
Umesh leading the pace attack as well, who's had a decent Ranji trophy, but again, it's like comparing apples and oranges.
And don't forget Mohit Sharma.
Mohit Sharma, yeah, of course. And then there's the curious case of Yash Dayal as well. He was with Gujarat Titans this year. He'll play for Royal Challengers Bangalore. Of course, I mean, all we remember of Yash Dayal, despite his good spells after that, were the 5 sixes he conceded against Rinku Singh. So he'll have a chance to redeem himself with RCB. However, the fact that he's playing at Chennai, which is a smaller ground and where batsmen tend to hit more sixes, could play against him. But then I'm sure it will help him hone his skills. It's all about the impact you have when you change teams. And speaking of impact, of course, the impact player, a very important concept introduced recently, will have a big bearing. Rajasthan Royals, Dhruva, your favorite team, the team you've been supporting for a long time, seems to
be noted.
Point to be noted, has sort of built its team around impact players, hasn't it? So why don't you?
So if you just look at the RR squad, they have 3 so-called all-rounders, 2 of which are Ashwin and Parag, who aren't really T20 all-rounders per se. So they have really built a team of specialists, and that again goes to show how impact player maybe has moved away from what it was intended to be, because again people thought that that would bring some new tactics into the game, but then what has happened is it has just become a batsman swap for a bowler swap, because again they have allowed teams to announce 11s after the toss. So it looks like RR is probably going to maximize that rule probably the best amongst all the teams, and that's probably what really makes them most fit for this tournament. Talking of RR's team of specialists, like you can see, they have probably one of the best opening pairs in the competition, Joss Butler and Yashasvi Jaiswal, who is in crazy form. And then in the middle order, they have got Rovman Powell, who is the West Indies skipper. He was again bought for quite a lot of money, so I guess they're expecting him to do well. And then they have again Dhruv Jorel in the middle order, who can really finish off things. So and again, the pace department, despite Prasid Krishna's absence, still looks good. They have got Trent Bolt and Berger. Obviously, one of them will end up playing, not both. And then again, Avish Khan too. So yeah, it really looks like a well-rounded team. But I'm sure you would disagree, Santa. So who do you think would?
I won't
be the
disagree.
strongest?
Obviously, like RR is one of the strongest teams in the tournament. But yeah, I think Mumbai Indians is the most sorted team this time. Like it's because of multiple reasons. Yeah, I'll get to that later. But obviously, like there has been some captaincy troubles, and the whole captaincy saga, needs to be sorted. I feel because Hardik Pandya took over not in the best of circumstances, and like not many took it well, I'd say. And obviously there were like other choices. Most like many fans felt that Surya Kumar Yadav could have been looked at, or Jasprit Bumrah. But it is what it is, and Hardik has had the experience of leading a team. We saw how well he did with Gujarat Titans, who he left this year. The only problem that I see maybe in Mumbai Indians is they were looking for a good spinner heading into the auction, and I'd say they have they had Piyush Chawla obviously, and now maybe they'll look at a Shreyas Gopal as a backup, and so I don't think that would play much of a part, but that's the only, if I'm doing nitpicking, then there's the only weakness I see in this side. What about you? Who do you think is the strongest side?
For the last, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years, the strongest team for me has always been CSK. It's going to be...
He's wearing purple.
Then they just find ways of winning.
It's uniform, code, so can't really help with that, but yeah, it's always bleeding yellow. And who knows? I mean, it's hard to tell if this is going to be Dhoni's last season. Every year we wonder if it's going to be the last season.
Every year we say this in the preview,
and the preview only to be proved wrong. So I'm going to refrain from commenting on whether this is his last season. But the team does look very strong despite injury concerns. Matish Pathirana has had hamstring issues. They've already lost Devon Conway to an injury, at least for the first half of the IPL. But they do have a like-for-like replacement, really, a Kiwi, Rachin Ravindra. They've got Daryl Mitchell as well, who I think is going to be very, very important, especially during those 7 games that take place in Chennai. I also feel the return of Deepak Chahar is a big plus, given the fact that he's coming back after a long injury layoff. He's not a mug with the bat. Of course, we know how well he is with the new ball. So that's a big leg up for Chennai, and, who can count out Dhoni behind the stumps and with the bat. So CSK all the way for me. Now, since we've all discussed who our strongest teams are, let's talk about the weakest teams as well. That would be, for me, KKR. He doesn't agree with anything that has anything to do with KKR in any negative sense, but I'll tell you why. One, they've spent way too much money on one fast bowler, although I'm a huge Mitchell Stark fan. I still think 25 crores is a bit too much for one. 24.75 is a bit too much. Their batting looks pretty shallow at the moment. Of course, they needed a fast bowler badly, and they got one in Stark. But what about their Indian pacers? They look pretty slim there too. We don't know
Which
how.
Which is in fact why they went for Mitchell Stark, because they had done away with their players.
They've done away with their players, and we don't know how the wicket at Eden Gardens is going to play out. Which is why it's very important that Shreyas Iyer has a good season, because if your captain is also having a pretty rough patch, it's just going to trickle down and affect the whole team. I think despite having good players, good quality players like Rinku Singh, KKR will still start as one of the weaklings of the tournament.
KKR basically needs to go back to the pitch that was when the CAV president.
And mind you, they have Andrew Russell. He's a great player, but it's very hard to tell when he's going to click. So that's one problem with him. CV Varun, again, important player, but he's coming back from an injury as well. So plenty of unknowns when it comes to KKR. Santa, your weak team of the tournament?
I won't say weak team, but I feel Sunrisers Hyderabad has a problem. It's a problem of plenty.
Yeah.
Now they have 8 overseas players, and they wouldn't know who to pick in their final 12 because you have a Markram who was the ex-captain, and there's a very good chance that he might sit out this time. He'll be on the bench, which is quite surprising. But then you see the other names, and you know why. Because you have a Klaasen in the squad, you have a Pat Cummins in the squad, you have a Glenn Phillips, you have Markram himself, Faruqi Hasaranga,
and Travis Head.
Sorry?
And Travis Head.
Obviously, yeah. I missed the most important player, the World Cup winner. So, even if you consider that Pat obviously plays, Head is in the team, you have to play Hasaranga because you need a good spinner. And he's an all-rounder as well. So, who is the fourth player? That's a major question that they'll have to answer. Which is why I feel like if they land on a good 12, like if they find it out in the course of the tournament, maybe not too late, then they have a good chance of maybe making the top 4. But otherwise, they will. The problem persists. Like they have to figure out who they want to play.
Right. Dhruva?
I think Delhi Capitals by a distance is the weakest team on paper.
And the injuries.
It hasn't helped that Harry Brook and Gidi have been now ruled out of the tournament. If you see, the top order, you obviously have David Warner and Mitchell Marsh, who are probably one of the best batters going around right now. But then again, we see their middle order, which is full of very raw Indian domestic talent. Yash Dhul is not really a T20 batter. They'll have to choose one amongst Kumar Kushagra and Ricky Bhui as their wicketkeeper. They also have Abhishek Porel, but they aren't. Yeah, they do have 3 Indian wicketkeepers, but they haven't really found their feet in the IPL. You have 2 excellent batsmen in Rishabh Pant and Prithvi Shaw, who are severely lacking in game time. Prithvi Shaw has had an okayish Ranji Trophy season, but again he has been struggling in the IPL for the last 2 seasons. Their bowling lineup consists of Mukesh Kumar, Khalil Ahmed, and Ishant Sharma. Again, Indian bowling attack, and Ishant Sharma again hasn't had too much of game time. Mukesh Kumar leaks runs, and Khalil Ahmed also does. And Rick Nokia's availability is still under doubt. So I think
But he just got some game time back in South Africa.
Yeah, but again he's just been in and out. And
game is the first few
he anyway tends to get.
I think the most important player, other than all the hype around Rishabh Pant's comeback, is going to be Akshar Patel. He's definitely, the team is going to revolve around him, and we've seen how he has grown as a player with the bat also. Right. And Akshar Patel, I think even in the larger picture, even the Indian team will be looking at how Akshar Patel does in the tournament.
Right. And just to add to Dhruva's point about DC, Rishabh Pant's comeback is going to be one of the stories of this IPL. I mean, regardless of how DC plays, what he has endured in the last 1 year and the way he has bounced back is really praiseworthy, and everyone's looking forward to having Rishabh Pant back on the track. We've got a separate video talking about this exact thing about Rishabh Pant's journey, and Hardik Pandya's comeback as well will be covered later. But our colleagues have shot something for you guys about Rishabh Pant and what his return would mean, not just for DC but for Team India in a T20 World Cup year. So do check that out. And moving on, guys, this is the last phase of the video, of course. So I'm going to put you guys on the spot and ask you to pick your top 4 for this year's IPL.
Okay, so for me it will be CSK, MI, KKR, RR.
Dhruva?
I'll definitely go for RR. CSK, they just find ways of winning.
Yeah.
So definitely CSK. SRH looks promising. Problem of plenty, which should be a good problem. And maybe the 4th side would be, I'll give KKR a chance maybe.
Okay. And so my 4 would be CSK MI, of course. I'm going to keep 2 left field choices there in the top 4, LSG and Punjab. These are teams that, you expect them to do well. LSG, of course, will have KL Rahul coming back, but there's again an injury concern there. We don't know how he's going to fare with the bat. But it's a strong team. It's a stable team. If not a strong team, a stable team. And we've seen what stable teams can achieve over the duration of a tournament. And not just that, Punjab Kings, of course, they have firepower. We saw that in IPL 2023. They actually, with Liam Livingstone up top and Shikhar Dhawan as well, they tried to adopt a pretty aggressive approach. It worked in a lot of cases, and it didn't. And it sort of fizzled out as the tournament progressed. They would want to sort of keep that momentum going. Shikhar, of course, has fallen out of favor when it comes to national selection, so he's got a point to prove as well. So
they'll also have to contend with the new venue this time.
They have to contend with the new venue this time as well, Punjab. Lots of permutations and combinations for them too. So for me, it's going to be MICSK, and I'd love to see 2 new teams in the top 4. Of course, LSG have finished in the top 4, so they are a good side. Punjab, it's been a while since they've.
You want to see them.
Yeah, we want to see them. It's been a while since they've roared, so to speak, the Lions. So it's time for them to roar. So sorry. Okay, that was a bad one. Anyway, so that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be getting you more updates and videos and copies on the IPL as we get closer to the season. That'll be all from our side. This is Santadeep, Dhruva, Prasad, and Ayan Acharya signing off. Thank you so much.